Yo, what's going on? This is that boy Fred. Welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, as you can see on the screen, we got another tier list video, a fighting tier list video at that. You know, we did a Naruto fight tier list in the past. You know, it's only right that we do a Bleach one, and eventually I'll get to a One Piece one. But you know, Bleach is one of my favorite animes. By the time this video goes up, my stop hating on Bleach video would have been dropped already. It honestly probably would have been dropped for about a week and a half already. But yeah, basically, you know how I feel about Bleach by that video. You know, Bleach got some top tier fights in it, if you ask me. So, you know, we're just going to be going over some right here. I'm already just using a preset template that someone already has on here. But with all that out the way, if you're new to the channel, you've been watching for quite some time, and you for some reason haven't went down there and hit the subscribe button, I would really appreciate it if you could, because it would really help the channel in the long run, especially helping us reach our new goal of 200 subs. But with all that out the way, let's get straight into this. Now, we're just going to go from, you know, the Renji fight to the Ichigo fight down here, which, if I'm being 100% honest, I don't know which Ichigo. Oh, never mind, I remember. That's Ichigo versus what is his name? Genjo. I want to say his name. All right, so starting off, Renji versus Ichigo. I want to say this is the first time. Yeah, because it looks like it doesn't have the second time on here. So this, honestly, I don't know if I want to count the first or the second time, because the first time was kind of mid. The second time was like really good. I'm gonna count the second time. The second time, if we're talking about Ichigo versus Renji, is definitely like a B tier fight. This is like Ichigo's. I want to say this was probably his main fight. Was it? I'm trying to truly remember. Did this fight happen first, or did the Kampachi fight happen first? I want to say this fight happened first. Yeah. I think this fight happened first. And then he went off to fight Kenpachi. This fight was really good because Ichigo was able to get his revenge, especially when Renji and Byakuya kind of teamed up on him back in Katakura Town. So yeah, this fight was really nice. It was a good one for Ichigo. You know, it gave him some character development, made him think back to stuff that Ukiota was teaching him, and it also, you know, gave us a different side of Renji and showed that he really did care for Rukia as well. Now, Ichigo versus Kenpachi is definitely A tier. This fight is like, this was probably by far the best fight at this point in time. Ichigo versus Kenpachi was like a crazy fight. Now, the only downplay I do have on this is, you know, for most people, I feel like Kenpachi should have won the fight. But, you know, of course, we couldn't have that happening because we wouldn't have a story anymore. So, yeah. But even then, we also found out in the manga why Kenpachi lost this fight is because he was lowering his power down without even knowing to Ichigo's level, just so he can so-called have a good fight in his mind. And he was accidentally lowering his power level down to what Ichigo's truly was. So yes, technically not Byakuya, but Kenpachi was still stronger than Ichigo, but he was dropping himself down to Ichigo's level just so he could have a good fight, because most of all the people that he fight, it was like a one and done thing. Like, Kenpachi handled them pretty easily. Now, Uryu versus Mayuri, honestly, I want to say it's probably better than the Ichigo versus Kenpachi fight, only because this was the only time we got to see Uryu actually like go crazy. And go crazy he did. He like did not disappoint in this fight whatsoever. Him and Mayuri had like a really good fight. We got to see Mayuri's Bankai really early on. We got to see Uryu use his, like, I want to say it was like, I guess you could say it was like his version of the final Geshiga Tensho, but really early on. It was supposed to be the Quincy's, you know, like ace up their sleeve. This is like, they can only use it like one time. And it did do some damage. It blew, like, it straight night god moderate Mayuri. It like put a whole hole in this man's body. Like, that arrow definitely did do some damage. But that fight all around was really good. Toshiro versus Gin, it was C tier. It was more so like a little scrap, you know. They just was scrapping. It wasn't really like a full-fledged fight, I would say. Byakuya versus Renji, probably better than, actually no, because this was more so a beat down. We got to see Renji's Bankai for the first time, but we also got to see actually we didn't get I'm trying to fully process. I'll actually put on the screen if we did get to see Byakuya's Bankai or not. I can't fully remember. But if we did, then this was the first time we also got to see his. But for some reason, I'm really leaning towards we did not see his, because I felt like they saved it for the Ichigo fight. So yeah, I mean, even then, this fight was good. It wasn't as good as this one because Renji and Ichigo was more like actually having a pretty evenly matched, while Byakuya was kind of just like toying with Renji and ultimately like just destroyed him. Tosin and Komamura versus what is his name? Kenpachi, A tier. I love this fight. This is actually one of the I'm gonna put it in S tier. This is one of the only fights I actually go back and Bleach and constantly watch. Like, I love this fight so much. Not like, and that's mainly because like Kenpachi for the longest like was my favorite character before Kisei started becoming a thug. You know, Kenpachi was my favorite character. He still was number like 2 or 3 even to this day. So like, I just love this whole Kenpachi fight with them taking on 2 captains at once. That just showed like early on how strong this dude is. Yoruichi versus Soifon. It was, I wouldn't put it in B, but it's definitely a C tier. It was cool. You know, at the point in time, you know, I'm pretty sure most Bleach fans didn't find like Soifon the most interesting character, because I know I didn't really like her a lot. You know, towards the end of the show, you know, she got better, but at first I really didn't like her. We did get to see a lot of Yoruichi in this, which was like surprising, because for the longest in the show, Yoruichi was a cat. So this was like the first altercation we actually got to see her fight, but it was a tad bit underwhelming. Byakuya versus Ichigo. I've already made, like, this was in my top 3 Bleach fight videos. If you haven't watched it, I suggest you go back and watch it. That'll explain why I love this fight so much. I'm not gonna go crazy on it. Ikkaku versus Ichigo is what I believe this is. I want to say this is Ikkaku versus Ichigo. This was good, because the only reason this fight is under Byakuya and Renji and Ichigo is because this one really got, like, it was okay, it was good for the time being, but then what fight came right after that? This one right here. So it like absolutely just destroys, and like this fight just was like meh compared to this one. So yeah. Ichigo versus White, you know, these fights are always just okay. You know, they were just like little sparring matches. Shinji versus Grimmjow was definitely like a B tier for me. I really enjoyed the visors all together. They were a cool group of people. And this was like our second seeing of Grimmjow. And the first 2 times, like being this time and the first time he's seen Ichigo, he kind of like pooped on him both times. But now Shinji's there and he kind of like poops on Grimmjow for us. So he kind of gets back for Ichigo getting his butt whooped twice. Now right here, I'm gonna be honest, I can't fully, like, I'm trying to process what fight this. Actually, never mind. I remember what fight this is. This is Rukia when she fought that Espada. I'm gonna put it in D tier. I'm sorry, this is the first D tier fight. This one is just like meh. Like it's all right. It's not very good. This is the same as the Byakuya and Ichigo fight. I've already talked about this, so I'm not gonna go into too much detail. Goated. Like, come on now. Byakuya versus this Espada. Like, I'm not getting cap between him, the one that Rukia fought, and this one that Mayuri fought. These are the only Espada's names that I just for some reason cannot remember. Yeah, this one was okay. It was fine. It was meh. Mayuri versus, I want to say this man's name starts with, like, I'm not even gonna try and figure out what it is. It was a cool fight. Mayuri kind of came in there and started bodying bro. Like, he was low-key playing around with them. Everything this dude threw at Mayuri, he just completely countered it. It was a good fight. Asnod versus, not Asnod, I'm sorry, that's the manga. Noritoto versus Kenpachi, definitely A tier. Kenpachi, this was a good fight for him. It had been quite some time since we seen Kenpachi actually fighting the story. So this was a really good fight to come back to. You know, Kenpachi had a little bit of character development. He started using something that Yamamoto showed him years ago. So yeah, that fight was good. Now I'm gonna be honest, this fight is really hard to tell what it is. So I'm gonna honestly skip over that one for now. And honestly, this fight is the exact same. I sadly cannot open the image to actually look at it more. So sadly, we're just gonna put these two a D tier only because I cannot process what neither one of them are. Shuhei versus this Arankar. probably in front of these, but not very good. Ukiota versus Vasta, Lorde, Ichigo, probably the best fight in all of Bleach. Same, all three of these. Go watch the video. All right, I'm gonna explain them in there. Holly Bell versus Toshiro, and I'm pretty sure they're talking about Toshiro and the other visors that were helping them, but I guess they're just talking about Toshiro. Never mind. Oh, this was a B tier fight. It was probably better than all of these because Toshiro was doing like, this was like the one fight he actually did really good in. Because Toshiro, for the most part, like, we all knew he was a strong character. He was like a prodigy, but every time he would show up, Toshiro was getting beat up. So like, this was actually a pretty good one for him. I liked it. So I'm assuming this is Soy Fong, and I'm assuming that one visor that I can't remember, the one with the pink hair, versus Baragon. This one was probably better than that one, but I wouldn't put it in front of these two. It was a good fight. Soy Fong, we saw her Bankai, which was kind of like, it's alright, it's cool, I guess. Like, her Bankai is alright. The visor definitely carried. He was going dummy. I really can't remember his freaking name, but he was low-key the homie. Stark versus Shunsui. Honestly, I'll put it in front of the Kenpachi fight, but I don't think I'll put it in front of the other two. Shunsui versus Stark. It was a good fight. The only problem I have with it is that it starts to get kind of sort of sidelined, because like they would come back to the fight and then they would do a really good job, like, you know, enjoyment wise on the fight, and then it would kind of like disappear for a little bit and then come back. So it was like, it was a good fight for what they showed. Tosin versus Komamura was probably like the best fight. No, I wouldn't put it in front of Toshiro and Holly Bell, but it was definitely like a really good fight, especially because if this fight truly meant a lot to Komamura to try and at least bring Tosin back to his senses, but it sadly didn't work. Komamura ended up losing this fight, if I remember correctly, and yeah, it was a good fight though, nonetheless. Eisen versus the Gote 13. Honestly, like, fight, like, if I'm talking one person about a group, like, this is by far like probably one of my favorite moments, like definitely top 3 moments in all of Bleach. This is probably the best one out of all this that's here. Yeah, man, this is a good moment. I showed this to one of my friends, and like literally it made him said, yeah, I'm gonna have to watch Bleach just off this whole Eisen altercation. Now, if I'm talking one-on-one fights, you know, I'm gonna put the Ukiota fights in front of this, but this is, man, this is a top 3 Bleach moment. Yamamoto versus I want to say his name was Wonderwise. It was probably the best B tier. Yeah, it was a good fight. You know, definitely Yamamoto deserved better justice than fighting a retard. I'm sorry for using that word, but that's basically what he was. He had no like actual brain. He was just a fighter. Ichigo versus Gin. It's probably like a C tier at best, because honestly all they were doing is just swinging and talking. They weren't really taking the fight too serious. Kisei, Yodorichi, and Ishin versus Eisen. That's probably like the best B tier. They were low-key going dummy, but taking the L at the same time. And I really enjoyed this fight, mostly because Kisuke is my favorite character, so I finally got to see him like actually fight. So yeah, everything about that was just good to me. Eisen versus Ichigo. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I did not put Eisen and Ichigo in my like best fights in Bleach. And I'm gonna be 100% honest with y'all. I honestly don't know why, because like never mind, I know why. Because like that fight didn't build up as much as the rest. Like every other fight except for this one built up way more. Like Grimmjow, this was their 3rd altercation, so this fight was amazing. He was getting revenge for borderline leaving Ichigo dead, like, so Ichigo was coming for revenge. Especially that was a development moment for Byakuya. Like, he needed to take that L. And Ichigo versus Ukiota is just flat out better. So yeah, like Eisen and Ichigo is definitely S tier, but I don't think it's in front of these. I do think it's in front of this though. I want to say this is Ichigo versus Man, I'm disappointed I can't remember his name. I really am. This fight was like, it was probably the best one out of all these. It was okay. It was fine. He had an interesting ability, but I mean the fight was alright. Ichigo versus I don't want to call him Gojo because it's either Gojo or Genjo. Gojo, one of the two. It was a mid. It was pretty disappointing. Like last main fight in the show. Um, yeah, because the Fullbring arc was just meh altogether. But yeah, definitely a okay fight. Not the worst, compared to some of these, but definitely nowhere near the best. But yeah, I think this will wrap up this tier list right here. If you guys agree or disagree with the list, as I always say, leave it down in the comment section below. But with all that out the way, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.